What is up, guys? My name is Keggernaut, but just call me Kegg, and I'm here on the PTR on my Vengeance Demon Hunter for patch 7.15, and I thought that I would go ahead and make more smaller, like bite-sized videos, like just more dedicated videos for the tanks that I'm playing, because what I did do is on PTR day, when it came out live, I did a 3-hour stream, and it's on my channel now. You could watch that. That had my raw, like, first impressions, like just first reading all of the changes happening and kind of just stuff thinking throughout my head of what you can use them with. And I understand that a lot of people might not want to watch a 3-hour long video or try and sift through to find exactly what it is that they're looking for whatever tank that it is. So I thought I'd make more dedicated videos so that people can, like, just take that information, be happy with it, and, you know, go along their day. So I will preface this by saying that Blizzard has said themselves that not all of the class changes are in yet for the PTR. There's still a lot of talent changes that have not been put in yet, a lot of other talent changes that might need tweaking or whatever, but we can definitely see some of the talents here, the changes that we have for Vengeance Demon Hunter, and there's also some new legendary changes as well, which I'm going to get to. So let's start now, and row 99, actually almost all of these talents here have been changed in some sort of way. So row 99, Abyssal Strike. Infernal Strike's range is increased by 10 yards and its cooldown is reduced by 8 seconds. On live, this is reduced by 5 seconds. Now it's 8 seconds, so it's a tiny bit more of a buff. You can, leap around a lot more if you want to, if you choose this talent. Agonizing Flames, Immolation Aura increases your movement speed by 30% and deals 20% increased damage. This was nerfed yet again. Now it only deals 20% increased damage as opposed to 30% increased damage like it is on live right now. And then Razor Spikes. While Demon Spikes is active, you deal 30% increased physical damage and your melee attacks snare targets by 50% for 6 seconds. This got a buff. It used to be 20% physical, now it's 30%, so we do have changes for all of the talents here on the very first row. I'm not going to go too in-depth with exactly how to use these because there's just so many changes for the Demon Hunter currently on the PTR, so I'm going to kind of just go through a little bit faster. Agonizing Flames, probably still the default AoE choice. Razor Spikes is absolutely the go-to choice for increasing single target damage. Row 100, Feast of Souls has not changed, Fallout has not changed, and Burning Alive has not changed. It got a little bit of a tooltip buff, not a tooltip buff, a tooltip like cleanup, but Burning Alive has not changed. Row 102, Fellblade hasn't changed, Flame Crash has not changed, Fell Eruption it now is a 30-second cooldown as opposed to a 35-second cooldown, and I believe it does a tiny bit more damage. I'm not sure. It didn't get too much of a change here in Fell Eruption. Soul Rending is the same. Feed the Demon is the same. However, Fracture got a major buff. Fracture is now only going to be costing 20 pain instead of 40. It's still going to do the same damage. It's physical damage on a single target, but now it only costs 20. So now it's not the only option for single target fights, because you can potentially use this for AoE because it costs so little. You can get 2 of these out on 2 targets, and also you're getting 4 soul fragments instead of just only 2 or whatever. Like, definitely this opens more options in terms of gameplay of how you want to spend your pain, and it has very, very good sort of combinations with Spirit Bomb and Soul Barrier. But yeah, Fracture is now 20 pain instead of 40. Row 106, Concentrated Sigils is the same, Quickened Sigils is the same. Sigil of Change has gotten a nerf though. It's now a 1.5 minute cooldown as opposed to a 1 minute cooldown. So I mean, that's a little whatever. Row 108, Spirit Bomb has gotten a buff. It's now going to do 20% leech healing to enemies affected with frailty. So it's even more of a sustained healing, just general sort of like trickle down healing. It's very, very good. It's already better on PTR, on the live servers than it was in past iterations. It is very competitive with Fell Devastation, but Spirit Bomb now is very, very great with a 20% leech. Blade Turning, parrying an attack increases the pain generation of your next shear by 65%. On live it's 50%, now it's 65%. It's not that big of a difference, honestly. Like, it's not that big of a difference, but it is something to just further benefit this. But now the fact that they've increased Spirit Bomb's healing, there's no reason to choose Blade Turning again. Like, it's just still a bad talent. In row 108, Demonic Infusion. This is a brand new talent which they added in place of Fell Devastation. It's a 2-minute cooldown. Draw from the power of the Twisting Nether to instantly activate and then refill your charges of Demon Spikes, and it generates 60 pain. So how this works is you press this, you'll immediately gain 6-second buff of Demon Spikes. Immediately, you just get a free one, and then it recharges your other 2. So if you're running at no charges, you pop this, you get a free one and then 2 extra, so you can have 3 potential back-to-back. That's great. And then also it generates 60 pain, so that's a free max power soul cleave. Think of Demonic Infusion here, think of it as like Black Ox Brew for Brewmasters. It's going to give you more resources in terms of pain, and it's also going to give you more charges on your active mitigation. It's a 2-minute cooldown, so I mean, this is great, guys. I haven't tried it yet personally, but this automatically has a lot of just like throughput in terms of trying to survive, because one of the main complaints that I have with Demon Hunter is the fact that you have to be so perfect in your uses of demon spikes, but Demonic Infusion now gives you an extra way to further just kind of make it easier for new players or just people still trying to master the class. Also, it's a very great defensive cooldown as well, because you just get more demon spikes. And then row 100, Last Resort got a major nerf. It's still going to do the cheat death, it's going to put you into Metamorphosis, but now it only occurs once every 8 minutes instead of 3 minutes. So basically, in a raid fight, you're only going to have this proc 1 time. In a dungeon, you'll have this proc maybe 2 or 3 times, depending how long it takes. Maybe 4 if you're doing like Halls of Valor, I don't know. But yeah, this has a major nerf. It's still a good talent because it's a cheat death, but it's not that great anymore. It's just not, because of the insane cooldown. And they also buffed Soul Barrier, but we'll get to that. So Fell Devastation has moved from row 108 to row 110. It does the same thing. It's a 1-minute cooldown, 30 pain. Everything is the same. It just moved locations. And then Soul Barrier got a massive buff. It's a 30-second cooldown now, so it's a little bit longer of a CD, but it has a gigantic shield. Currently, it's 682,000 for me. You know, I'm sitting at 681 item level. I mean 861 item level. So that's 600,000, and then every time you consume a soul fragment, it's an extra 75 to 76k. That is great. That's amazing. And then also, I believe the Soul Barrier's absorption cannot be reduced below 91k. I think that also got a tiny bit of a buff. So even further, just straight up damage reduction for 12 seconds. Like, this is a very, very, very high contender now. This is the new Guard, basically. Like, I say Guard a lot in a lot of my videos, but basically this is Guard. You know, it's 30-second cooldown, just like Guard was. It's a giant shield, and it has a lot of opportunities to make skilled and expert play get a lot of benefit out of Soul Barrier because of how the soul fragments work. You can run Fracture and get more soul fragments and get a bigger Soul Barrier. You can do all sorts of things. Fell Devastation, however, these two, the fact that Fell Devastation and Soul Barrier with its massive buff are on the same tier as Last Resort, it's just, I think it might not be worth choosing Last Resort anymore. Maybe still on like progression content, because you just have the chance to die, that this is just going to help you out because you get to last a bit longer. But in most cases, Fell Devastation and Soul Barrier are probably going to beat out Last Resort. And also now, if you're not using Soul Rending, you don't get that big of a benefit on Metamorphosis. So Last Resort's not going to be as valuable because maybe you want to run Fracture, feed the demon. But anyway, also talking about Metamorphosis, this got a buff too. Metamorphosis now is still a 3-minute cooldown. You transform into demon form for 15 seconds, increasing current and max health by 45%. That 45% is with artifact traits. It's 30% by default. But now it's going to increase your armor by 100% and greatly empower your sheer ability. And it's going to still generate 7 pain every 1 second. So what that means when it empowers your sheer ability is now sheer is going to turn into sever. And every time that you cast sheer, it's going to automatically generate 1 soul fragment every single time. So we're going to start here. We're going to pop Metamorphosis, and now we have sever, right? It's going to do 100,000 physical damage. So let's press it, and we generate a soul fragment. Let's press it again, we generate a soul fragment. We press it again, we generate a soul fragment. And we can just keep doing that, and every single time that we press sever, we're going to get soul fragments. And if you're running Fueled by Pain on your artifact trait, which you should be by now because you should be maxed out, you have a lot of chances in order to get procs on Fueled by Pain so that you can further increase the amount of time that you're actually sitting in Metamorphosis. So that's a very, very welcome change, because Metamorphosis arguably wasn't that great of a cooldown because it didn't offer the leech unless you were running the talent. It only was an increase to your HP. So now that it increases armor, that's very, very great. But another way that we have received some changes is in the form of legendaries. So Pride As has got a big buff. Every 30 seconds, gain an absorb shield for 30% of your maximum health for 30 seconds. So you don't have to do anything. You just have to wait the 30 seconds and you get a free shield. It's very good, very powerful, like just very solid legendary. The shoulders also got a bit of a change. Metamorphosis will reset the remaining cooldown on all of your sigils and empower wards and grants you 1 charge of demon spikes. This only happens when you cast Metamorphosis. I'm not sure if the last resort procs also count, but definitely it only works when you cast Metamorphosis, not when you pop into it with Fueled by Pain. So yeah, it still resets the cooldown of your sigils, but now it gives you empower wards back and also grants you 1 charge of demon spikes. Not the best still, because empower wards, you know, you're not going to use it that often, so it's not that great and you have to cast it, but I don't know, it's a welcome change. It's a little bit better of a legendary now. The back piece has not changed. The wrist hasn't changed. The waist, though, Sinidaria has changed. Your auto attacks cause an additional 30% damage as physical to enemies above 85% health and heal you for 100% of the damage done. This isn't the best legendary, but for demon hunters it is a little bit better just because of the leech healing, since that's a lot of the healing that we do with fire damage and all that stuff. It is going to be a bit better since we're going to have the increased damage that we do, and it's going to do more leech healing and all this stuff. It's nice buff. It's probably still not the best, but definitely is okay to run, especially in dungeons. These hands are brand new legendary for Vengeance Demon Hunter. Your fiery brand now heals you for 150% of the damage done, and each enemy hit by your sigil of flame increases the damage of your next fiery brand by 20%, stacking up to 15 times. Wow. Okay, so that ties a lot of stuff into fiery brand if you run this legendary, but it gives you more opportunities of how you want to use it. Now, currently, whenever you use fiery brand, you have to use it almost as just a damage reduction cooldown on one target, or if you're using burning alive on multiple targets. But now, with the fact that it does 150% more damage and it heals you, so that's going to make it a healing cooldown almost. I think I was doing some quick math on my stream when I did this, and it was like 1 million healing, like upwards of 1 million or 1,400,000 healing just by pressing this. And then every time that you use Sigil of Flame, it increases the damage of your next fiery brand by 20%, stacking up to 15 times. I think the 1.4 million heal was with those 15 stacks, but still, like, that's a lot of damage, guys. That is a ton of damage that we're going to be doing. That is a ton of healing that we're going to be doing. And on top of that, we're still getting the damage reduction for 40% for 10 seconds. So this superpowers our fiery brand cooldown. And additionally, if we're running something like the feat where we have more chances to use fiery brand, it's definitely a very, very great cooldown to use. Also, by the way, the feat have not changed. Sifu's secret has changed though. Successfully applying a loss of control effect or interrupting an enemy grants you 70% increased movement speed and 25% haste for 10 seconds. This effect may occur once every 30 seconds. This is a very, very great change because now we can get this after we interrupt something, which we're going to want to be interrupting all the time because we get 50 pain from it. And now it's 25% haste instead of 15% haste. So that's a nice welcome change as well. So we have a couple ways that we can get this. I believe Sigil of Chains will proc it because technically it pulls them in. That's a loss of control. Also, our Sigil of Fear, Sigil of Misery is going to happen. That's going to proc this every time that we interrupt. If we can use Imprison, that's going to interrupt as well. So we're going to have this, and it's like a mini Bloodlust or Heroism almost any time that we can get advantage of it. And Haste is a very, very good stat for us. This legendary, however, does have more benefits in dungeons than it does in raids. But either way, it's still not the worst legendary ever to get. Like, it's pretty good still. The finger has not changed. You're going to gain the 15% leech with demon spikes. But now we have a new legendary tanking trinket. It's on use. Gain an absorb shield for 50% of your maximum health every 10 seconds. For 10 seconds. When the shield is consumed or expires, 100% of the damage absorbed is dealt to nearby enemies, split evenly. 1 minute and 15 second cooldown. So if you think about this, we have Soul Barrier, which is a very, very good guard, right? Guard sort of ability, a nice shield. We have this, which is essentially another one, even more powerful shield, but it's also going to be doing damage. And then we have the neck piece is going to be doing an absorb every 30 seconds. Like, we have a lot of absorbs going on with our legendaries and with our talent. So we have a lot of survivability that is packed into our legendaries and into what Soul Barrier can do for us. There's a lot of good ones here. Arguably every single one of them is good, and they can be used in most situations, except possibly the finger, because raids you're not going to get much benefit out of it. But either way, like, still, this is pretty good. I'm loving the changes for legendaries. I'm loving the changes for the talents so far. There's a lot of testing to be done in order to make sure that this is all said and done. But just yet again, a reminder, not everything is set in stone. This is the first iteration of talents. Maybe we'll get some new ones still. Maybe we'll get some more tweaks. Maybe other stuff will happen. We don't know. Patch 7.15 isn't even expected to drop until sometime in January, since that's when the Night Hold is going to open up. So we still have to wait till then. But either way, that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, please leave a comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you in the next video.